Good morning. Most people remember the movie. I can't even remember the name. I don't even think I ever really saw the thing, but I know the song. It stays in your brain. Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. And you think, well, what has that got to do with anything biblical? That's a lot to do with it, really, as you get to thinking about it. King Asa was up against the wall, and he was overpowered, outnumbered, outmuscled, everything, equipment. You can't imagine the situation he's in. I'm going to tell you about it here in just a second. But he was really dealing with more than just people. He was dealing with personalities behind those people in strong, powerful places. And so I want us to think about the fact that we are in a war as Christians, and sometimes I think we forget that. And we don't rely on human power and human numbers. Let me give you his situation. I'm going to give it to you out of 2 Chronicles 14:11. And Asa cried to the Lord his God and said, Lord, it is nothing with thee to help, whether with many or with them that have no power. Help us, O Lord our God, for we rest on thee, and in thy name, I love that, in thy name we go out against this multitude. He knew that he was standing in the name of God. You said, well, how bad was his situation? He goes on to say, O Lord, thou art God, let not man prevail against thee. Now, it tells us here in chapter 14, verse 9, that Zerah, the Ethiopian, came out against him with 1,000,000 men. Well, Asa only had 580,000, so he's pretty much outnumbered 2-1. You ever felt like your odds are 2-1 against you? 2-1 against you with your job, 2-1 against you with your marriage, 2-1 against you with your children, 2-1 against you with your health, 2-1 against you as you think about the world today and where you are. Well, let's learn something from King Asa. King Asa said, in thy name we go out against this multitude. Let's do a little bit of study on the name of God that he was referencing here. Joshua is the name in the Old Testament that means Yehoshua, which is God is salvation. That was Joshua's name. Now, obviously, Asa didn't know anything about our Jesus, but he still was referring to God and Lord. But you and I do know Jesus. And so let's talk about that. Yeshua, the Hebrew of the Old Testament, Yehoshua, God is salvation. What does that mean to us? That means deliverer, rescuer. Jehovah is my deliverer, rescuer. Or it could be in Greek, Jesus. Same thing. Jehovah is salvation, or Jehovah is rescue. Jehovah is deliverer. He said, in thy name we go out against this multitude. You are represented by the name of God. You are his child as a believer in Christ. You are combined with him in a way, in him and him in you. You can't be alone. He said, in thy name we go out against this multitude. So what was he looking for? He was looking for God to back him up. He was basically saying, God, this promise has got your handwriting on it. You're the one that told me. I'm reading here, and you wrote this, that I can depend upon your faithful name that is powerful, omnipotent, and you have all of these resources that I don't have. And so I'm not going to face this challenge in my own strength. And he went out against them, and he won the battle. Why? Because he said, Lord, it's nothing with thee, whether with many or with few. My power, my circumstances, my abilities have very little to do with your power to bring success. You're going to use what I have, but it doesn't depend entirely upon me. In fact, it doesn't really depend on me at all. It depends totally upon God. Let's do this today. Let's say, God, I'm going out against the challenges I face today, not in my power, not in my strength, but in your name only, in the name that represents Jehovah is salvation. God bless you and have a great day.